I hadn't seen anyone for days. My legs ached from scrambling over rocks, pushing through the dense woods, hoping for a sign of civilization. When I spotted the smoke curling up from the trees, my heart leapt. Shelter, maybe food. I stumbled upon the log cabin just before dusk. The smell of burning pine filled the air. Inside, I heard voices, young, laughing, oblivious. I tightened my grip on the walking stick I'd picked up. What would they think of me? A lost, ragged hiker? I knocked. The door creaked open, revealing four teens, no older than 18. They stared, startled at the sight of a stranger. "I'm lost," I said, my voice shaky. "Can you help me?" They welcomed me in without hesitation. City kids, clueless. Their leader, a tall boy with shaggy hair, gestured to the couch. They offered me water, food, even a blanket. I played my part, shivering, nodding gratefully. But deep inside, I watched them, studied them. They had no idea who I was. They asked about my hike, how long I'd been out there. I made up a story about getting turned around, losing my gear. The girl with the red hoodie kept glancing at me, uneasy. She sensed something. I smiled at her, reassuring, hiding the hunger in my eyes. Night came and they invited me to stay. They told ghost stories around the fire, laughing nervously. They didn't know the real terror was sitting right next to them, waiting. They had no clue what they'd let inside. In the dim light, I watched their faces glow, flickering like candles in the dark. So fragile, so unaware. The girl in the red hoodie was the first to speak. "You don't seem scared," she whispered, her voice barely louder than the crackling fire. I looked at her, letting the smile fade from my lips. "I'm not." They exchanged glances, confused. The tall boy asked, "What's wrong?" I leaned forward, my voice low, as if telling them a secret. "You should be the ones who are scared." For a moment, silence, then nervous laughter. They thought it was part of the fun, a twist in the game. But I wasn't playing. "See, the cabin wasn't always empty," I continued. "Something lives here. An ancient thing, older than the trees, older than these mountains. It wears faces, mimics voices, walks among people like a shadow. It waits, looking for someone to welcome it in, to make the mistake of thinking it's human." They stared at me now, the laughter gone, replaced by dread. I stood up, watching as they shifted, realizing too late what was happening. "You see, that thing, it doesn't need to find you. You bring it inside yourself." Before they could react, I moved, fast. The last sound they heard was the fire crackling in the silence of the woods. I wish I could say it was difficult, that they fought back, but it was over before they even understood what was happening. The red-hooded girl was the last to go, her wide, terrified eyes reflecting the flames. I whispered to her as she gasped for breath, "It's not your fault. You didn't know." She slumped to the floor and the cabin was silent again, save for the crackling fire. I stood there for a moment, staring at the bodies. Four teenagers, full of life minutes ago, now nothing more than remnants of a bad decision. They shouldn't have let me in. I stepped over their lifeless forms and moved to the door, pushing it open. The cool night air brushed against my face. Outside, the woods were still, dark, and endless. I gripped my walking stick tightly. Time to disappear again, like I always do.